first question, it is saying state the value of f1. So here f1 means y-axis, and then this 1 means the value of x. So in the y-axis, if the value of x is 1, then what is the value of y? So you can plug in here. So this is the x-axis. So if it is 1, then the value of y is, you can see this is 1, this is 2, and this is 3. So the value of f1 should be 3. So we can also reveal the answer and then double check. Okay, so that is how you find it. Now estimate the value of f minus 1. So it is same process. So let's see. So the value of y when the value of x is minus 1. So let's plug in minus 1. So minus 1 is this. So now when the value is minus 1, then this is the value of y. So this is not 0.5, not minus 0.5, but it looks like minus 0.3. So let's reveal the answer. So it's minus 0.2. So sometimes even if you do minus 0.3, because it is not scaled down into the decimal format, so you'll still get it, you'll still get your points. So that's no problem. Okay, now for what values of x is fx equals to 1. So if there are multiple answers, then you can also enter that in a comma separated format. Okay, so if the value of y is 1, okay, so I'll just clear it so it will be easier to explain. Okay, so now if the value of y is 1, so let's see. So here is the value. So this is y equals 1. Okay, so now for what value of x? So now this can be 1 if x equals 0, right? So you can see here, if x is 0, so if x is this, then here is 1. Now another possible value is, so if x equals this, so let's say this is 1, this is 2, 3 and 4. So if x equals or not 4, if x equals 3, so if this is the point, then our value of y is 1. So I'll erase it, so it will be, oops, it's this one. Okay, so here you can see, so 1 is this point, and then another one is this point. So in this point, when x is at this point, value of y is 1, and also when x is at this point, the value of y is 1. So here is 1, and then here is another. So the answer should be 0 comma 3. Okay, so let's reveal the answer, and it is indeed 0 comma 3. Okay, so our last one, so estimate the value of x such that fx equals to 0. Okay, so when y is equals to 0, okay, so I'll erase this. So let's see. So when y is equals to 0, so this means this point. So now if you look at this line closely, so I'll also zoom it so it will be easier. So you can see we need to find the value of x when y is equals to 0, which means this point. So if we look at this point, so the coordinate of this point will be negative, so it's it looks like negative 0.6, let's say. So negative 0.6, okay, and then comma 0, right? So this is the coordinate of this point. You can see negative 0.6 comma 0. So here 0 is the value of y, and then negative 0.6 is the value of x. So so for this question, when y is equals to 0, you can see here, so the value of x will be minus 0.6. So let's reveal our answer, and it is indeed negative 0.6. Now for question number E, it is saying state the domain and range of f. So we need to find the domain and range of this graph. So first for domain, so domain means all the possible value in x-axis. So if you look at the x-axis, which is this axis, so all the possible value can be from here. So from this point, I'll erase this. Okay, so from that end point, so from this point to from this point. Okay, so this one is you can see this is -1 and this is -2, so this is -2, and then this is 1 2 3 4, so this is 4 for the value of x. So -2 to 4 is our the range of domain. So you can do -2 and then 4. So -2 is also included and then 4 is also included, because you can see it is up to here. So that's why we need to do this square bracket in this interval notation. So -2 and 4 is our answer. So I'll just reveal it. Okay, now for the range, so it is same process but for y-axis. So all the possible value in y-axis, so it goes from here to here. Okay, so up to here. So this one is -1 for y-axis, so this is -1. Okay, so it goes from -1 to this is 1 2 and then 3. So from -1 to 3 is the possible value of y, so it is our range. And then this is also in same format, because -1 is also included and then 3 is also included. Okay, now so number f, it is saying on what interval is f increasing, and then let's erase this so we can read it properly and then also reveal the answer. Okay, so on what interval is f increasing? Enter your answer using interval notation. Okay, so you can see, so this is our graph. So from here to this point it is increasing, so you can see the upward inclination, and then from here to here it is decreasing. So now our answer will be, so I'll just erase it, from this point to this point. So this point is, can see, so this is 0 and then -1 and then -2, and then in notation format, so we do -2, and then this one is 0 and then 1, so 1. So from -2 to 1 it is increasing, so our answer will be this. Okay, so question number 2, it is saying the graph of f and z are given. Okay, so the red one is f and then blue one is z. So it is saying state the value of the function value. So the value of y-axis when x is 0. So I'll repeat it again. So it is saying the value of this. So this means the value of y-axis. Okay, the value of y-axis when x is 0. So for function f, so let's only look at the red graph. So now let's put the value of x as 0, so which is this. Now the value of y will be 3, right? So the value of y will be 3. Now for z, so I'll just delete it so it will be easier. Okay, so now for z, it is asking the value of y. Oops, so let's do z3 equals to question mark. So it is asking the value of y in graph z when the value of x is 3. So let's put the value of x 3, which is this. Okay, so when the value of x is 3, what is the value of y? So for the red, oh no, for the blue one, so this, so we need to find out. So this is 2 3 4. So when the value of x is 3, the value of y is 4, so the answer will be 4. Okay, so I'll also reveal the answer. Okay, now it is asking for what values of x is fx equals to gx. So that means for what value of x is the value of y-axis in this graph, and then the value of y-axis in this graph is same. Okay, so to find out, we need to see the intersecting point of the graph. So here is the one intersecting point, and then here is another intersecting point. So it is asking the value of x. So let's find out what is the value of x. So 1 is 2, and then another is -1 and then -2. So -2 and 2 looks like our answer, so we can also double check. So when the value of x is 2, the value of y for both graph is 2. Now when the value of x is -2, the value of y for both graph is 1, right? So when it is 2, the value of both and this f and y is 2 in this case, so it is same. And also for both it is 1 in when the value of x is negative 2, so it is also same. So that's why, so it is asking for a smaller value will be negative 2, because negative 2 is the value of x which this question is asking, and 2 is the larger one. Okay, now estimate the solutions of the equation fx equals to -1. Okay, so for that, so before that I'll just reveal this answer. Oops. Okay, now we need to find the solutions of equation when fx equals to 1. That means when the value of y-axis of a graph f is equals to -1. So let's find out. So value of, I will just erase it. Okay, so now let's put the value of y -1. Okay, so this is y-axis and this is 0, and then this is -1. So this is the point. So when the value is -1 for graph f, so basically it is a similar type of question. So let's see. So value of y is -1, so this is -1, right? So let's put our point here, and then let's find the value of x. So when this is -1 for this graph, the value of x will be 4, which is this one, and then another value of x will be, so this is -1, -2, and then -3, right? So when the value of y in y-axis, of course, is -1, the value of x for this graph, this red graph, which is graph f, function of f, will be 4 and -3. So the smaller value is -3, and then larger value is 4. So I'll just reveal the answer. So it is indeed -3 and 4. Okay, so now it is saying on what interval is f decreasing. Okay, so f means this red color graph, so don't look at blue color graph. So now we need to find the interval when it is decreasing. So let's start from here to this point. So you can see from this point to here, to in this middle axis, it is increasing, right? So it is increasing, and from this point to this point it is decreasing. So from so it is saying on what interval, so you can say from 0 to, this is 3 and then this is 4, so from 0 to 4 it is decreasing. So here we can input 0, and then here you can input 4. Now it is asking state the domain and range of f. So domain means the possible value of x-axis. Okay, so I'll just delete it. Now let's see. So for this graph f, so the possible value is from here to here, and this is, so this is -1, -2, -3, and -4, and then this is 4. So the domain for a range, the domain for the graph f will be -1 through 4. Okay, now the range for f is the possible value in y-axis, so it goes from here through here. So you can do -1 and then -2, so from -2 to 3. So from -2 to 3 are the range of the graph f. Okay, so same for graph z. So you can see the value of possible x in x-axis will be from this point to this point. So this point is 3. Okay, so this is 3, and then this is -1, -2, -3, and -4. So this one is -4. So it goes from -4 through 3. Okay, so you can do -4 through 3. Okay, now for range it is same process. So it goes from here to here, the lowest to highest. So the lowest is 0.5. So this is 0.5, and then highest one is 3. So it goes from negative, or it's not 3 actually, so it's 2, 3, and then 4. For y-axis it is 4. So from 0.5 to 4, so we can add 0.5 to 4, and then also I'll reveal the answer. Okay, so now I'll go to number 3. If you have any question, you can comment down below. So it is asking determine whether the curve in a graph of a is a graph of a function of x. So for any curve, so before explaining I'll give you some time to guess or think. You can also pause and try, but I'll move ahead. So for any curve to be a graph, it needs to pass a vertical line test. So what does that mean is, so if I draw a vertical line here across the graph, so it should not intersect in more than one point. So in this case you can see it is intersecting in more than one point, so here and then also here. So this fails the vertical line test, hence this curve is not a graph. Okay, and then it is saying if it is, state the domain and range of the function. So this is not a graph, so we cannot determine domain and range. Okay, so it will be none and then none and then none and then none. Okay, so if I go to the previous curve, you can see, so if you see at this graph of the curve EF, so if I draw a vertical line test, in every position it is only intersecting at one point, right? And also if you forget this red curve, and then if you only look at this blue curve, at every intersection there is only one point, right? But in this case we can see here is one intersection, and then here is another intersection, and here is another intersection. So that's why this is not a graph. Okay, so similar question, it is asking if this curve is a graph of a function of x. So let's do some vertical line test, and then here you can clearly see that there is only one intersection. So in this section there could be two intersections. Okay, so if you look closely, so in this line there could be two intersections, one in here and then one in here. But if you look closely, so this one in here, so here this is included in graph, so this point is included in graph because it is like this. Okay, so this is the denotation. But if you look at this below one, this is not included in the graph because it is not a filled circle, it is just a circle with an outline. Okay, so if it is a filled circle, then we know that it is included in the graph. We know that this point is included in the graph. It is, if it is not a filled circle, then that graph, I mean that point is not included in the graph. So if we draw a vertical line, so in this intersection it will meet, but in this intersection it will not meet. So hence there is only one intersection in every vertical line drawn in this graph. That's why it is a graph. Okay, so it is a graph. Now we need to determine the domain and range, so I'll just clear it. Okay, so now to find the domain, it is the possible value in x axis, so from, so this axis. Okay, so it starts from here, okay, and then it ends at here. But we cannot write this point and this point because we also need to include this one, because this point is not included and then this is included. Okay, so we need to do that. But hold on a second, so since it is a x-axis for the domain, this point is also included. So this point is included, this point is included, and then this point is also included, which means from here through this point everything is included. So we don't need to deal with this we'll deal with this in x, I mean in range, when we figure out the value in y-axis. Okay, so for domain it will be this point, which is, so this is 0, this is -1, this is -2, and then this is -3. So it starts from -3 and then it ends at 2. So from -3 through 2 is our domain. Now for range we need to figure out the value, I mean possible value in y-axis. Okay, so for that it goes from this point in the y-axis to this point in the upper level y-axis. So this point is, we can calculate, so this is 0, so this is -1, -2, and -3. So it starts from -3, and then if you move one step above, so this point is not included. So this is 0, this is -1, and this is -2. So -2 is not included in this graph because it is not a filled circle, or it is not a continued graph. There is a discontinuation in here and it is not a filled circle, so this point is not included. So if something is not included, then we do it using this square bracket, I mean this parenthesis, not the bracket. Okay, so this means this point is not included. So this is -3 and this is -2, so -2 is not included. Now this one is -1, it is included, so we can do -1, and then here we can see this square bracket, which means it is included. So -1 is included, so we start from -3 through -2, which is not included, and from -1 it is included, and this one is the final one. So we can do 1 and then 2 and then 3. So if I remove this line, you can see it is intersected up to up to the top point, which is 3. So -1 and then 3. Okay, so now I'll just reveal it, and then you can see. Okay, so from -1 to 3. So if you have any confusion, you can either rewind and then watch it again, or you can comment down below. I'll move to question number 5. Okay, so this is an interesting one. I'm sorry it is quite blurry, but I'll read through everything. So it is saying, sketch a rough graph of the market value of a new car as a function of the time for a period of 20 years. Assume the car is well maintained. Okay, so let's go through all the graph. So here you can see, so the value of in the initial, which is it at 0 year. Okay, so in the initial the value is here. Okay, and at the end the value is 0. Okay, so in the past, in the course of 20 years, the value is 0. So if you look at the question, it is saying assume that the car is well maintained. So the car is well maintained, the value, so the value of the car in 20 years cannot be 0, or it is not likely to be 0. It can be degraded, but it's not like the value, it is not worth it at all. Okay, so let's keep it in the question mark, so let's keep it in the doubt. Okay, so one of the least possible answer. Now here we can see, so it is same price in the initial phase, right, and also at the 20-year mark it is still the same price. So this is not possible, because the value of car, whether you maintain it or you not maintain it, the price will degrade over the year. Okay, so it is just a common sense, right? So this cannot be the graph. Now this is also a straight one, so let's see. So here also it is saying, so the value is at this I mean in the initial time, this is the value. Now over the course of 20 years it will linearly, so it will be constantly degrade, and then it will degrade to 0. Okay, so this both has same point, so this is degrading slowly at a curve rate, but this is degrading at a constant rate. So in both of this option, the value of car is 0 at the end. So this is not the option, and this is also not the option. So through the process of elimination, we found out that this one is only the correct graph. So also let's go through this graph. So you can see initially this is the value, and then it is slightly declining, right, declining, and then over the course of 20 years, comparatively it is significantly lower, but it is not 0 compared to this 2, and then also it is not constant, which is not possible at all. So this is our correct graph. Okay, so this question is asking, if fx equals to 2x square minus x plus plus 5, find the following. So we need to find f of 3. So for that, simply we need to replace the value of x with 3, which means 3 squared minus 3 plus 5. Okay, so this will be 18 minus 3 plus 5, right, and then it will be, so 18 minus 3 is 15 plus 5 is 20. So the value of this will be 20, and then the value of f of a will be, so let's do, so a, we need to simply replace the value of x with this value, which is a in this case. So it will be 2a squared minus a plus 5, right. Now in this case we need to replace with minus a, so it will be 2 minus a squared, right, and then minus a, and then plus 5. Now the next step will be 2, so minus a squared will be a squared. Okay, and then this negative and negative will be positive, and then this plus 5 will be stay as is. So this is our final answer for this. Okay, so before moving on, so I'll just remove it for now, or I guess this will be the easier way. Oops, or I guess I'll just do it this way. Okay, so this is done. All right, so now we were here, so the value of x will be a plus 1, so we need to replace with a plus 1 in this case. So it will be 2a plus 1 square minus a plus 1 plus 5, right? So now it will be 2, so a plus 1 squared will be a squared plus 2a and then b, and which is b means 1 and then 1 squared. So this is the formula. Now when you open the negative 1, so you do negative a, and then so negative times positive will be negative, so it will be negative 1 and then it will be positive 5. Now so this has the parenthesis, so this negative will only multiply with this, which is positive. So positive negative will be negative, and the negative positive will be also negative, and it will not impact 5. Okay, so now we need to multiply 2 by this one, so it will be 2a square plus, so it will be 2 times 2 4a, so 2 times a times 1 is 2a, and then 2a times 2 is 4a, and then plus 1 squared is 1, so it will not impact, and then negative a, and then it will negative 1 plus 5 will be positive 4. Okay, so now it will be 2a square and then plus 3a plus 5 is our final answer for this. Oh, hold on, I forgot to multiply this by 2, so it will be 2 times, oops, I'll just change it, so it will be 2 times 1, which will be 2. Okay, so now it will be 4 plus 2, which is 6, not 5. Okay, so this is our answer. Now I'll just remove everything, and then we'll continue from 2 times f of a. Okay, so here you can see, so 2 times, oops, this one is, so it will be 2 and then fa. Okay, so in this case it will be 2 and then fa will be same as above, so it will be 2a square minus a plus 5, and then it will be 2 times 2 is 4a square minus 2 times a is 2a, and then plus 2 times 5 is 10. So this is our answer. Oops. Okay, so this one is our answer. Now I also remove it. Okay, so now we will do f of 2a. So this one, now f of 2a, so we need to replace x with 2a in this case, so it will be 2 and then 2a square minus x will be 2a and then plus 5. Okay, so it will be 2, now 2a whole squared will be 4a squared, and then minus 2a will be minus 2a and then plus 5. So next step will be 2 times 4, which will be 8a square minus 2a plus 5. So this is our answer, 8a square minus 2a plus 5. Okay, so I'll also delete this, or I assume there is a way. Oops, it's not helping. Okay, so the bigger one. Okay, now this is the next one, so it's fa square. We need to replace x with a square. I guess we already did it now. No, we did this one. Okay, so never mind. So fa squared, so it will be so we need to replace x with a squared, so 2 and then a square, and then square is already there, so we need to keep it there, and then minus a squared plus 5. Okay, so next step will be, so a squared times square will be a, 2 times 2 will be 4, and then minus a square plus 5. So this is our answer. So 2a to the power 4 minus a square plus 5 is the answer. Okay, so let's erase this, and then now next will be f a and then whole square. Okay, So here is the fa and then whole square. So the fa will be this one, but with x replaced by a, so it will be 2. Okay, and then so the x will be a squared minus a plus 5 and then whole squared. Now we need to resolve this. So let's say this is one part and then this is another part. Okay, so the formula is, so a plus b whole squared. So the formula is a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. So in this case a is 2a squared minus a, and then b is 5. So we just need to think that assume that this is one part and then this is another part, and then we can compute that. Okay, so let's do a square. So in this case a square means 2a square minus a whole square. Okay, now plus, so 2 and then a will be 2a square minus a. Okay, so I'll also delete this part. Okay, now b will be 5, so multiply by 5 and then plus b square is also 5 square, so that's easy. So now here also we need to apply same formula. It is a minus b whole square. So a will be 2a square, so let's do 2a square, and then you can see here is a square also, so we need to apply that square, and then minus 2 and then a means 2a square, so 2a square, and then you can see b means a, so we can just put a, and then plus, so this is the value of, I mean this is the formula of a plus b whole square, but in this case we have a minus b, so a minus b whole square is a square minus 2ab plus b square, so it's the same but the minus. Okay, so a square minus 2 and then a is this, b is a, and then plus, so this b square, which means a square. Okay, so this is this part. Okay, so now we need to solve this part. So for this part 5 times 2 is 10. Okay, now we need to multiply 10 with this and then also with this, so 10 times 2 is 20, so it will be 20a square, and then minus 10 times a will be 10a, and then plus, so this is the remaining one which is 25. Okay, so now next step, let's solve it. So 2a square whole squared will be, so this will apply to 2 also and then a square also, so 2 square is 4, and then a square times square will be a to the power 4, and then minus, so this will be 2 times a, 2a, and then 2a times 2a square will be 4a cube. Okay, so I'll do it here also, so it's 2a times 2a squared. Okay, so 2 times 2 will be 4, and then a to the power 1 times a to the power 3, it's not 3, it's 2, so a to the power 2 will be a to the power 3, so the power will add up if there are same base when multiplying. Okay, so now plus a square is from here, and then plus 20a square, so plus 20a square, and then minus 10a plus 25. Okay, so now let's see, so this is also a square, this is also a square, so we can figure it out. So let's do 4a to the power 4 minus 4a to the power 3, and then plus 21a squared, and then minus 10a plus plus 25. So you can add this in this box, and then you will get the full points. Also I can also reveal the answer for you, so you can see, so it is 4a to the power 4, and then if I delete this you will be able to see okay, and the negative 4a cube plus 21a square minus 10a plus 25. So here basically you just need to know this formula, and then you need to know how to plug in the values. Okay, so let's erase this. Now the last one is a plus h, so it will be a easy one. It's also a same concept, so we just need to plug in. I move this to, this one will be 10. Okay, So now we need to find out f a plus h. So in the value of x we need to put a plus h. Okay, so it will be 2, so in place of x it will be a plus h, and then we have this square, and then minus again a plus h, and then plus 5. Okay, so now again, so this will be a square plus 2ab plus b square. So in this case it is h, so it will be a square plus 2ah plus h square. Okay, and then minus a, and then minus times plus will be minus, which is negative, so it will be h, and then plus 5. Okay, so now let's open it. So 2 times a will be 2a square, and then plus 2 times 2 will be 4, and then ah, and then plus 2 times h square will be 2h square, minus a minus h plus 5. Okay, so this will be 2a square. Okay, and then let's put this same power at the same place, so 2h square, it doesn't matter, and then plus 4ah. Okay, now it's basically the same thing, we don't have anything to do further, we cannot solve it, because this is a square, this is ah, this is h square, this is a, this is h, and this is 5, so none of the base are same, so we cannot compute. So we can directly enter this value in this box, and then you will get it right. So I'll also reveal the answer. Okay, so here you can see 2a square plus 4ah plus 2h square minus a minus h plus 5. Okay, so it doesn't matter if you write 4ah at the beginning and then 2a square at the last, you just need to make this symbol right. So it will be negative a, negative h, and then positive positive positive. So you can jumble it, but you cannot change this the sign, the positive and negative sign. Okay, so if you have any question, you can always comment down below. I'll move to next question. Okay, so this is the fun one. So here it's the same process. So this is our main function, and then we need to calculate this one. Okay, so for this, so first let's find out what is the value of f of 1 plus h. So for that we need to replace the value of x with this 1 plus h. So for that, do 2 minus 4, and then in place of x it will be 1 plus h, and then minus x square will be 1 plus h square. Okay, so it will be 2 minus, so let's open it. So 4 times 1, negative 4 times positive 1 will be negative 4, negative 4 times positive h will be negative 4h. Okay, so minus, so now let's open this. So it will be 1 plus h whole squared. So our formula for a plus b whole squared is a square plus 2ab plus b square, right? So it will be the same thing. So a will be 1, so it will be 1 square plus 2 1 times h. Okay, and then plus b square will be h square. Now it will be 2 minus 4 minus 4h minus, so 1 squared is 1, minus, and then 2 times 1 times h is 2h. Now again minus plus is minus, and the h square is h square. Okay, so now what we can do is, so 2 minus 4 is minus 2, minus 2 minus 1 is minus 3, right? So it will be negative 3, and then negative 6h, because negative 4h, negative 2h will be negative 6h, and then minus h square. Okay, so this is the value of oops, my bad. So that is the value of f of 1 plus h. So now I'll just delete everything, and then we'll calculate other. Okay, so that is, so this one is f of h 1 plus h. Now we need to find out what is f of 1. Okay, so f of 1 will be 2 negative 4 times 1 minus 1 squared. So it will be 2 minus 4 minus 1. Okay, so 2 minus 4 is minus 2, minus 2 minus 1 is minus 3. Okay, so f of 1 is negative 3, and then f, this is this one. Okay, so now we need to bring it together and then do some calculations. Okay, so this is negative 3. Okay, so now let's do it as a whole. So f of 1 plus h will be negative 3, and then negative 6h, negative h square, and then we have negative again, and then f of 1 is negative 3, which we calculated earlier, and then divide by h. Okay, so now it will be negative 3 negative 6h minus h square. Now negative times negative will be positive, so it will be positive 3, and then I will delete this now. Divide by h. So this negative 3 plus positive 3 will be 0, and then we have a negative 6h minus h square divided by 3. Okay, so now in these both expressions h is common, so let's take h. So let's do h, and then it will be negative 6 and then negative h, and then divide by h again. Okay, so now we can cancel this, and then I did this because if you multiply h by negative 6 it's negative 6h, and then multiply h by negative h, it is negative h squared. Okay, so I just took h, so we can cancel this numerator and denominator. Okay, so our final answer will be from here, which is, oops, I'll just make some space. Okay, so our final answer is negative 6 negative h. So this is our final answer, and then I'll also reveal it here. Okay, so if you have any question, you can comment down below. I will move to question number 8. Okay, so this is question number 8. It is a little blurry, but I'll read through everything. So this question has several parts that must be completed subsequently. Okay, so you cannot skip. So let's read through. So consider the function below, which is fx equals x cube. Now we need to evaluate the difference quotient for the given function. Simplify your answer. So here it is asking the value of fa. Okay, so in this case we just need to replace this x, replace this value of x with a. So here currently we have fx equals to x cube, and then it is asking us the value of fa. Okay, so we can replace the value of a with x, and then fa will be a cube. So a cube is the answer that goes here. Okay, so in this case it is asking fa plus h. So let's take it here. So here you can see fa plus h. Okay, and then here it is also doing this step for you. So you need to divide it into a 3 part because it is a cube, right? So let's solve it. So here you can compare with this. So fx, so again fx is x cube, right? Now fa plus h will be, we need to replace x with this a plus h, so a plus h cube, right? So this goes in this box. Okay, so we need to write a plus h whole cube. Now after that, this is another step. So they did this step for you, so you will convert this into the 3 parts, so you can calculate easily. So x a plus h, a plus h, a plus h, so this will be equivalent to a plus h whole cube. Okay, so now let's you can either solve this yourself. You can multiply this by this by this, again this by this by this. Okay, and then you'll get a value, and then again multiply a through that, and then again do s through that. Actually I think we should do that together, so you will have a general idea. Okay, so let's do that together. So let's multiply a by a to a, and then a to h. Or actually what we can do is, we already know the formula of a plus b whole square, right? We did it previously. So a plus b whole square is a square plus 2ab plus b square, right? So we can do this. So a plus h whole squared, and then a plus h. Okay, so now it will be a plus h, which is this, and then this will be this, which is a square plus 2ah plus h squared. Okay, so now we need to multiply it by a, and then again multiply it by h. So a times a squared will be a cube, plus it will be 2a square h, and then plus h square a. Okay, and then again plus h times a square is h, and then a square, and then I'll move to another line, plus it will be 2ah squared, and then plus h cube. Now we can view here and then simply fill out. So it will be a cube plus a square h. Okay, so we have a square h in here, and then also h square h a square, which is basically a square h. So these both has the same base, so it is 2a square h, and this is 1a square h. So 2 plus 1 will be 3, so here it will be 3. Okay, and then 3a h square, so same thing. So this 2 plus 1, it will be 3a h squared, which is already entered for us, and then the value of h to the power will be cubed. So the answer was already revealed, so it is cubed. Okay, so let's reveal all the answer. So this one is a cube, this is a plus h whole cube. Okay, and then in this case it is 3, and then this is cube. Okay, so let's move to part number 3. Okay, so this is part 3. So here it is asking the value of denominator. So if you look closely, so here it is h, and then here also it is h. So this is not a function, so you don't have to, or you cannot change this into other value. So it has to be h. Okay, because we also have h in the numerator. So in denominator it is not a function, so unlike this you cannot change it into a separate value, so it will be same as is. Okay, now it is asking subtracting a cube and cancelling h from the numerator and denominator gives us the final answer. Now you need to find the final answer. So basically you need to solve this and then figure out the final answer. So let's solve that. So here if you if you look here, so here it is negative a square, and then here it is positive a square. So this negative and then positive will be 0. Okay, and then we left with this option. So now you can see here h. So h is common in all three expressions, so you can extract out h, and then you can do 3a square. You have only h, 1 h, so you can leave it out. Now you can do 3ah plus h squared. Now if you multiply this by this, it is same, this by this it is same, and then this by h squared, it is h cube, which was previously here. Okay, now we have h in denominator. Now we can cancel this by this, and then this is our final answer. Okay, so I'll also reveal this. Here you can see h, and then here you can see 3a squared plus 3ah plus h squared is our final answer. Okay, okay, question number 1, it is giving us the main function. Now we need to evaluate this. Okay, so here fx, it will be same as this, but f6 we need to calculate it. Okay, so let's calculate it independently. So now we just need to plug in a 6 in the value of x. So it will be 6 plus 8 over 6 plus 6. Okay, so 6 plus 8 will be 14, 6 plus 6 will be 12. Okay, so now it will be 7 over 6. Okay, so how did I do it? So I'll do it again by explaining it. So 14 over 2. So if you you can also do it this way. So 2 times 7 is 14, and then 2 times 6 is 12. So you cancel out 2, and then now you have 7 over 6, which is more simplified and preferred format. Okay, so 7 over 6 is f of 6. So now we can add the value of fx here, which is x plus 8 over x plus 6. Okay, and then minus, and then f of 6 is 7 over 6. Okay, and then divide by x minus 6. Okay, so now we need to do some cross multiplication and then take LCM. So let's only do this part first. Okay, so for this part we'll take some LCM. So for the LCM we can multiply this by this. So x plus 6 multiply by 6. Okay, now we can cross multiply this by this and then this by this. Okay, so it will be 6 and then x plus 8 minus 7 and then x plus 6. Okay, so now if you try to solve it, you will go to in this same stage. So the way to double check is what you can do it. So since you have same base, you can do it, you can give this base to this expression and then also give same base to this expression. So let's say this is the base for this expression. Just forget this part for now. So you can cancel this and this, okay, and then cancel 6, I mean you can cancel 6 and 6, and then you will be left over with x plus 8 over x plus 6, which is same. So this part also I am just explaining you how I took the LCM and then how it makes sense. Okay, so if you are confused, you can skip this part if you already know this. So for this one, let's only look this section, forget this one. So here if you cancel x plus 6 and x plus 6, you will be left over with 7 over 6, right? So it is basically the same thing, but we are doing this so we can multiply it and then do others, so we can potentially cancel other part and then reduce it in a more simpler form than this complex form. Okay, so now we have this main denominator, which is x minus 6. So now let's open it and then try to solve it, but before that I need to make some space, so I'll just delete this part. Okay, so now let's square the top. So multiply 6 by x, which will be 6x, and then 8 times 6 is 48, and then minus 7x, and then minus 7 times 6 is 42. Okay, so divide, and then we have this, so we can keep it like this. So x plus 6, and then again another big division, which is x minus 6. Okay, so now let's also delete this, so we'll have more room. Okay, so now let's do this. So 6x minus 7x will be minus x, which is also minus 1x, and then plus 48 minus 42 is 6, right? And then divide by 6, and then x plus 6, and then whole divide by x minus 6. This is equivalent to saying divide by 1. Okay, so now another rule is, so I'll explain the rule so we can convert this into a simpler form. Okay, so the rule is, if you have a over v, and then again here, and then c over d, so you can write this as this. So you can write this as a over v multiply by d over c. So these both are same character. You can plug in the value in a, b, c and d, and then try to add it in a calculator. So the result given by this and result given by this will be the same. Okay, so this is a general rule. So we can compare this in this situation. So let's do this. So negative x plus 6 divided by 6 times x plus 6, and then multiply by 1 over x minus 6. So I am basically following this rule here. Okay, so now let's go at this side and then solve it further. So here you can see x minus 6, but here it is minus x plus 6. So let's take minus common, or minus 1 common, and then it will be x minus 6. And if you try to open it, minus 1 times x is minus x, minus 1 times minus 6 is positive x. So this and this is same. Okay, and then you can do 6x plus 6 multiply by 1 over, I'll delete this. Okay, multiply by 1 over x minus 6. So now this is same and this is same, so we can cancel it, and then now we are left over with minus 1 over 6 and then x plus 6. So now there is no further way to divide it into a more simpler form. So you can simply add this value, which is minus 1 over 6 multiply by x plus 6 in this box, and then it will work. Okay, so I will also reveal the answer, which is minus 1 over 6 x plus 6. Okay, so if you have any question, you can always comment down below. I'll move to question number 10. Okay, so this is a fun one. It is asking for the domain. We also did a similar question but for a graph in the previous part. Okay, so domain means the possible value of x in this function. Okay, so we need to find out what are the possible value of x. So this function always exists, and it is not like infinity or others, or some complex numbers. Okay, so we need to figure out what are those possible value that can go inside this function. Okay, so always to find the possible value, what you can do is you can draw a line, and then so the number always exists between negative infinity to positive infinity. Okay, so let's see. So in this case, if you put the value of x 2, then it will be 2 square, which is 4, and then 4 minus 4 will be 0. So I'll also write it here. So let's say the value of x is 2. Okay, because I can see 4 here, so I'm trying to make 4 in here, and then only the one possible value is either positive 2 or negative 2, right? Because it is square. So I'll talk about that more if you are confused. So here we have x plus 4 divided by, so this is x, and then minus 4, and then here also we have square. So if we replace x with positive 2, what happens is it will be x, basically x means 2, so 2 plus 4 is 2 plus 4 is 6, and then it is 4 minus 4, so 6 over 0. So 6 over 0, so this number doesn't exist, so it cannot be, so the positive 2 cannot be the value of x. Okay, so let's draw positive 2 in here. Okay, so now it also can be negative 2 because it is square, and then if you recall, negative 2 times negative 2 will be positive 4. Okay, so if you put negative 2, it will be a same result. So negative 2, I mean it won't be a same in the numerator, so it will be negative 2 plus 4, which is 2. So 2 over 0, so again this number doesn't exist, so we cannot do that. So negative 2 is also not possible value in here, so you cannot include negative 2 or positive 2 in here. So the possible value of x will be all the way from negative infinity to negative 2. So negative infinity can be included. Okay, I mean it's not this. Okay, so it is wrong. So negative infinity, you never know what is negative infinity. So you will know one negative number, and then there is again on other negative number in here. So negative infinity, you never know what that is, so it does not include. Okay, so always for negative infinity you do does not include, which is parenthesis, but if it includes then you do square bracket. Okay, so in this case negative infinity does not include, because we don't know what is the value of that negative infinity. Okay, so it is same for negative 2, it also does not include, it cannot be the value of x. Okay, so we have multiple, so we can separate it by comma. So this is a interval notation, you can say interval notation. So this parenthesis means does not include, so we need to write it in this format. And then again negative 2, and then so the value between this can be a value of x, and then value between these two can be the value of x, and then again value between these two can be the value of x. So we are basically doing that. So comma positive 2, and then again positive 2 comma infinity. So infinity also doesn't exist, we don't know what that is, so we will do doesn't include. Okay, so this will be the value of a domain of this function. I'll also reveal the answer. Okay, so you can see this, and then also union means this. Okay, and then this, and then this, so you can either do comma or union, but in interval notation I believe you need to do union. The comma won't work, I believe, but I guess you can do it both. You can try it, it gives you error, then you can do it union, or you can do comma, but union is more preferable. Okay, so this is also a fun one. So it is asking for domain and range both in this condition. Okay, so the domain means possible value of x in this expression, and range is a possible value of y in this expression. Okay, so let's see here. So what can be the possible value of x? Okay, so for this we need to always look at the other value to figure out. Okay, so here it is 81 means 9 squared, 9 times 9 is 81, and then x is square. Okay, so let's say we put here 10, so the value of x is 10. So in that case it will be 81, so we are going back again, and then minus 10 squared is 100. So 81 minus 100 is some negative number. Okay, so under square root, if there is any negative number, then it will be a complex number, and then we cannot do that. So the 10 cannot be the value of x. Okay, so again let's draw this line. Okay, so here is negative infinity and then infinity. So we figured out 10 cannot be the value of x. So here is 10, and any value larger than 10 also cannot exist. In fact, if we do so let's do 9. So any value greater than 9 will result a negative number in here, because 81 minus 9.1 square will be 9.1 square will be a greater value than 9, which will result in a negative value. So any value greater than 9 cannot exist. So let's draw 9 in here. So it is a square, so we can say any value greater than 9 or less than minus 9, because you can keep 9 minus 9 also. So you can do minus 9 and then square, it will be same thing 81. So minus 10 square, it will be same thing 100. So you can either put positive or negative. The final answer will be positive because it is squared, and minus times minus will be positive. Okay, so we can plug in any value less than minus 9, I mean any value greater than minus 1 in this direction, and also any value less than positive 9. So any value between this will be a positive result in this expression, otherwise it will be negative. Okay, so it will be so it will include negative 9, so which means square bracket, so negative 9, and then also it will include a 9, so it will be again square bracket. Okay, so if I reveal the domain, you can see negative 9 and then 9, and then this is also a square bracket, and then this is also a square bracket. Okay, so now let's do range. So I'll just delete it. Now for range, it is the possible value of y. Okay, so domain is possible value of x, and then range is possible value of y. So what can be the value of y? So it will not break the function. Okay, so hx equals to 81 minus x squared. Okay, so what can be the result of this? So what are the possible result that can come from this, which is the value of y, which will be the value of y, because hx means y. So y equals to, we need to find all the possible value of this complete function, of this complete expression, to find out the range. Okay, so let's see. So we had domain which is minus 9 through 9. Okay, so we can plug in all the value here and then find out all the possible value of y. So let's plug in 9 in this case, or minus 9, it is same. So it will be 81 minus 9 squared is 81. So 81 minus 81 is 0, right? So one possible value of y is 0. Okay, so it cannot be negative, because if we put negative here, it will be a complex number and it cannot exist. So the it starts from 0. Okay, so the value of y starts from 0, and 0 is also included. So now we need to find out what are the other possible value. So let's put 10. So 10 we cannot put 10 because it is not in domain, so we cannot put 10 as the value of x. Okay, again if you put 10, it will be 81 minus 100, which will result in some negative numbers which cannot be under a square root. Okay, so we need to put the value less than 9 and greater than negative 9. So if I put here 9 and then here negative 9, so it will be 8 and then 7. Okay, and then 6 and then 0 and then others. Okay, so here if we put 8, it will be 8 times 8, 64, and then 81 minus 64 will be some number. Okay, and then it will be less than or greater than 1. Okay, so let's see what are the other possible value. So 7 will also be greater than 1, and then 0 will also be greater than 1. Okay, possibly greater than 2, 3 also. And then if we put 0 in here, okay, so let's do 81 minus 0 squared, which is 0 again, and then root under 81, which is 9 squared. So this square will cancel this. Okay, and then we can do 9 here. Okay, so 9 is one possible value of y. If we put negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, it is also the same. So 81 minus 1 will be 80. So the square root of 80 will be somewhere less than 9. Okay, but greater than 0. So all the value of y we start from 0, and then it will not go beyond 9. Okay, because if you put 0 or greater than 0 or less than 0, you can put whatever you want, it will always result in a number less than 9. Okay, so if you put 0, you will get 9. If you put negative 6, you will always get less than 9. Again, if you put positive 6, negative 6, it doesn't matter, you can plug in. So the possible value of y in this case will be 0 from 9, and then 9 is included, and then 0 is also included, so it will be square bracket. Okay, so let's reveal the answer. It is from 0 to 9. Okay, so if you have any question, you can always comment down below. So I will move to question number 12 for now. Okay, so this is a final one and also a fun one. So I'll just zoom it, it's little blurry. So it is asking the domain of the function, and then the function is fx equals to 8x, okay, 8x plus x squared. So if I zoom in, yep, 8x plus x squared. Now we need to sketch the graph of this function. Okay, so the more easier way than sketching is we can go option by option, and then we can cross it, or we can do it question mark if we are confused, so that way you can figure it fast. Okay, so here let's put the value of x 0, which is this point. So if you put the value of x 0, the y will also be 0. So all of the graph are passing through 0 comma 0, so that's not helpful for us. So let's put the value of x, let's say I don't know, let's do -4. Okay, so let's do 8 times -4 plus 4 square. Okay, now it will be 8 times 4 is 32, negative 32 plus 16. Okay, so it will be negative something. In fact, it will be negative 16. Okay, so now let's see. So we added the value of x as -4, so it is also negative. So -4 comma -16. So let's check this coordinate. So -4 is here, and then we need to get -16, which is somewhere around here, but clearly this graph doesn't pass through this point. I mean, -16 is here, so clearly this graph doesn't pass through this section, so this is not the correct one. And also here is the -4, and then here is the -16, so this is our required coordinate based on the given function, and this graph also doesn't pass through that, so this is also not the correct one. Now here is the -4 again, and then here somewhere around here is the should be -16. So this is our required point, and this graph clearly don't pass through this point, so this is also not our answer. But at this graph, if we look closely, so this is -4, and then somewhere around is -16, and this graph indeed pass through that coordinate, so this is the correct one. Okay, and then also I assume there is something, it is asking here, find the domain of the function. Okay, so now we found out this graph. Now the domain will be possible value of x. Okay, so the graph, it goes up to here and then up to here. So let's just draw a line. Oops, so I'll just delete it. Okay, so to find the domain, we can draw a line here and then draw a line here. Okay, so we can draw a line here, but this is a parabolic graph, so it will just go, and then also this direction, it will just go in this direction, and it will continuously expand. So we don't know what is the end point of x, so we do it infinity. And then also at this direction, we don't know what is the end point of x, because it is a parabolic, and then it will also so it will keep expanding, it will keep going in this upward direction. And then it is a negative direction, because here we have the axis, this is positive, this is negative, so it will be negative infinity. Okay, so the domain of this function will be anywhere at negative infinity, and then anywhere up to positive infinity, and then here is a comma. Okay, so from negative infinity to positive infinities, and then it will be square bracket. So this should be the answer. If I reveal it, yep, negative infinity through positive infinity. So that's all for this section 1. If you have any question, you can always feel free to comment down below or email us. We'll be there to help you. Okay, thanks for watching. See you in another video.